Hey, how you doing? And it's really good to be back, I must say. It's been a few weeks since I uploaded a video, but I think I left a message for you guys. I don't know if you all saw it, but I've been working on my garden. In this area, we get a nice crop in the fall if we plant it right. So that was just about the right time for seeding vegetables for the fall. And I got most of it done, but gardening, it's never ending work, right? So there was always one more project, one more project. And so instead of being 3 weeks off of YouTube, it was more like 4, even 5 weeks. I can't remember how much. I could look that up. But it's really nice to be back, and my apologies to those of you who waited a few weeks to get an answer for your comments. I'll definitely be getting to them. I try to answer everyone as far as I can. So yeah, and thank you very much for commenting. I really appreciate them. Today I want to talk about the substrates for a planted tank. Because when Diana Wallstad came out with her book the first time, her first edition, I read parts of it. I don't think I read the whole thing, but I read a lot of it. And I really agreed with the points she was making, but I felt like I couldn't manage to actually do it myself. And so that's why I want to talk a bit more about substrates, because I really like the way Father Fish does his substrates, but I have a feeling that there's a lot of us who can't do it his way. We just can't, because we live in a city. If I went down to the nearest pond and tried to take pond sand out, I would get a fine for $500 from the city. So I just can't go anywhere. There's nowhere where I can go and gather muck for my aquarium. I have to do it some other way. But the thing is, I want to end up with the same, where Father Fish ends with his setup, that's where I want to be. But how to get there is where I can't do it his way, because I just don't have a place to collect muck like that. Even my own pond doesn't have muck like that, I don't think. I guess I could make my own muck, but it would be just waiting. I would have to wait, because that's what it's all about, it's the maturity of the substrate. The substrate, especially the dirt layer. Let's concentrate on the dirt layer today. We'll talk about the sand next time. The dirt layer is where the plants get their nutrition, and that's the place that is it's really important to have maturity there. So the dirt has to have colonies of microbes living, so that they can break down all the stuff that needs to be broken down. When you first put in topsoil, you're not going to have the right microbes right away. So you have to take care of that soil until it takes a couple years very often. And even in the garden, like I was saying, I was gardening these past few weeks. Even in the garden, it takes a while for the soil to be actually good for planting. Unless you're going to buy, you can buy Miracle Grow soil and plant your vegetables in it right away, and it will be fantastic. But it's because they've done the work. That's why you pay extra for Miracle Grow soil. And when it comes to the aquarium, and you put in just topsoil, because Miracle Grow soil will mess up your water, because it has soluble fertilizers in it. So when you come to your aquarium and you want to put topsoil on the bottom, it's not ready. It's not ready to do its job. It's too immature. So you have to wait a while. And in the meantime, while you're waiting, you have to do certain things to keep your plants happy until the soil is mature enough to take that job upon itself. Now, what we're actually looking for is for mulm to form in the water column and seep down through the 2 inches of sand into the soil. And then the plants, the microbes will work on the mulm, and the plants will absorb the stuff that comes out of the microbes. Okay? Now, when we put in supplements in the substrate, that's part of what we can do to help the plants. But even there, like say you put in blood meal doesn't work right away. If I use blood meal in my garden, I have to wait a little while so that it gets starting to break down to where the plants can use it. Same with bone meal. And then if you use some kind of some of those chemical nitrogen, like, okay, let's take ammonium nitrate, for example. Very soluble in water. If you put that in your dirt layer, it will seep into your water and cause problems, okay? Because even if you're willing to tolerate 50 or 60 parts per million of nitrate in the water, it's going to go higher than that. When you have ammonium nitrate in your soil, it will go really high in the water because it's very, very soluble, and it will find its way up through the sand because it's not a particle now. It's actually just a molecule, in the water, and it will get up into the water column and cause problems. So until we can get that maturity out of our dirt layer, we have to do these certain things. So, I like to use Mycorrhizae. I think they're really good for the soil, both dry land soil and aquarium soil, both. Mycorrhizae are very good, but they start working right away as soon as you put them in the soil, but you don't see the effect of them working for a few weeks. So even the mycorrhizae takes a little while. Not months and years like some of the other stuff, but weeks. This is why I still use, right now I'm using root tabs and liquid fertilizers, because I know that my substrate is less than a year old, and I don't even have much mulm forming yet. I don't even I don't gravel vac ever, and yet I don't see any mulm. But this is what happened with my old 55 as well, though. At first, I had so much trouble growing plants. I didn't have any dirt in it. It was only 1/2 inch of soil because I was trying to save on the weight of the whole thing. But now that tank is several years old, there's mulm all over the place, and the plants are going crazy in 1/2 inch of sand. So, the mulm is the key to this whole thing. So, but you don't get mulm in a new tank, do you? So you gotta wait, all right? And then in the waiting period, you are the one that has to take care of your plants. So the only way out of that is to do like Father Fish, import some maturity. You're importing the maturity as a commodity. You're getting maturity from a pond and putting it in your aquarium. But like I said, many of us live in the city. We can't do that. The city will fine us. They're already mad at us for putting our goldfish in the local lakes. they don't really like aquarium people in that city hall. So we better behave ourselves. Okay, so when you put in your soil layer, remember to use the stuff that plants need. So what are the things that plants need? The supplements that you want to put in. If you want to put in things that are not water soluble, I would recommend for your nitrogen, you can use blood meal. To get potassium and calcium, you can use bone meal. Your plants will also need calcium. I myself use eggshells for that. For the magnesium and sulfur, I actually use it in the water column. So I will use Epsom salts I put in the water. Not too much. I will put in the description how much I use. I can't remember exactly how much it is right now. So magnesium and sulfur come from Epsom salts. And after that, you just need some trace minerals. I have fritted trace elements, which is a solid thing. So I put those in my soil when I set up the aquarium. But if you can't find a solid form of trace elements, then just use it in the water column, so liquid, okay? So just remember, we're trying to get to where Father Fish is, yes. But some of us can't do it his way because we live in a city. So we have to try it a different way. But the end result is the same, okay? A mature substrate that can handle fish waste and whatever other organisms are living in the aquarium will have waste. Snails and shrimp have to poop just like everybody else. So yeah, so we want the substrate to be mature so that it can handle the waste. That means you have to have established colonies of bacteria. That takes time, okay? Unless you're importing it from another pond that's already mature. Yeah, so I think Father Fish also puts in mycorrhizae in his supplements. Yeah, I guess I never did that to this tank, but I think it's a good idea. Yeah. Okay, so I don't want to talk too long about this because we can talk about it again another time as well. Don't want to make the video too long either. So let's stop there. And I think next time I will talk about the sand layer a little bit. And I would like to also talk about if you ever want to have decorative pebbles on top, how to manage that too. Because I know Father Fish doesn't like gravel of any kind, but some of us do want to have, we're into decor. So we want to have something pretty on top. Oh my goodness. But there is a way to handle gravel, and I'll talk about that next time. Okay? Thank you for being with me. I'm so glad to be back again talking to you. Thanks for being with me, and see you next time. Bye!